Hello, my name is Mrs. Hughes and I am currently Director of Learning for Key Stage 5 at Ysgol. Usually we would like to invite you into the sixth form to meet you and just give you a little bit of information about your child's journey with us in the sixth form. However, as we're unable to do that, I thought I'd just put a little video together for you so that you can just learn a little bit about our sixth form and what your child is going to experience here. The things that I'm going to discuss are the school day, so what the school day will look like for the students, what studies they take, how we monitor the progress, our private study and home learning, our uniform expectations and some expectations we have at sixth form, and then lastly, in year 13, the university and the careers, things that we offer here. So if I just start off with the school day, the lesson times are different for different years throughout the school. So these are the lesson times for our sixth form. So we expect them to arrive at 8:40. The door is closed at 8:50. And after that point, they will be marked in late. They're in form until 9:15. Then lesson one. And then where it's different to how they've usually had is they have a break in between lesson two. They have lesson three and then a break in between lunch with lesson four, and then lesson five they finish at 3 p.m. So that's what the school day looks like for them with regards to time of lessons. What they study here, we require that they study at least 3 subjects at AS and the Welsh Bac. With regards to the Welsh Baccalaureate, highly desired by many universities, and it really does give our students lots of the skills that universities or employers are looking at. So they do that over the 2 years here. It's not examined, it's a continuous assessment process, and it's graded between A star to E, and therefore it gives them the grades or the UCAS points that they need to go on with whatever they decide to do once they leave John Bright's. We do have some AS and A2 qualifications that we study here. That's the majority of the subjects that we offer. 40% of their A level, their AS, is completed in year 12, and they complete 60% of their course in year 13. They're examined at the end of year 12 for their ASs, and exams take place between May and June. And then that's the same for their A2 exams as well, that they do when they're in year 13. Students must pass the AS course in order to progress onto the A2 and complete that 60% of their course. So anything that has received a U grade, they will not be able to continue with that course on in year 13 to complete the A2 qualification. And then we also do offer some BTEC courses, and that's the same. The work that they do in year 12 has to be completed so that they can progress into year 13. So those are the pathways that we have here in sixth form. Then we will monitor their progress quite closely here in the lead up into the exams, and they will have 2 assessment points. You might hear them refer to them as APs during the year. Their first set of assessment points will be mock examinations in the hall, and they will begin the week commencing the 15th of November. Trying to get this in quite early with them, since they didn't sit their exams in year 11. So we need to get them used to sitting exams under time conditions in the hall so that they can familiarise themselves as quickly as possible with the examination process. They will then be marked by staff, and a full report will be generated and will go out to you on the 6th of December. Where you will get to see what grade they have received for their mock examinations. As a sixth form team then, what we do is we go through all the APs to check where students are at, to see how closely they are to their target grades. And then it will depend with where they're at with their grades as to whether we need to try and put some intervention in to help to make sure that they're going to achieve those grades at the end of the year. We also then will have a parents' evening on the 8th of February. where it will be an opportunity for you to talk to staff which are teaching your children. And then the second set will be APs will be in the hall again on the 28th of February, and a report will be issued to you on the 21st of March, and we will do the same thing. We will go through these APs to check that students are on target and are likely to succeed in the summer. Just something to talk to you about as well is this is an example of a timetable of a student in school. As you can see, in the morning, it's only the Thursday that I have highlighted. It's only Thursday morning that every single Year 12 student will be in school. So you can't see because my face is in the way, but where the arrow is coming from, that's an example of a private study lesson. So if it says 6 study, they don't have a lesson, but they are on site working. So there is a designated room for them, and the rationale is that they become these independent learners who on their own can organise their time effectively to complete any tasks, any pieces of work that they have. Quite often that will be, as you can see in EF15, which is their common room. And that's their designated workspace more often than not. As you can see, there are 2 blanks on the timetable here as well. If there is a blank on the timetable, that means that they are working from home. So they are not expected to be on site. This is something that we've tried to come up with because the students, one of the privileges that they have from being in sixth form is that they're allowed off-site at lunchtime. However, because they now have their lunch, they only have half an hour in between that lesson. It isn't enough time for them to go anywhere. So something that we've come up with so that they still feel like they're getting treated differently in a sense, that they have some kind of privileges in the sixth form, is that they have this home study. But it is to be home studying. It isn't an opportunity to go to work or to go shopping or to go and see their friends. We're expecting that they're at home working. And because it is a privilege, this is also something that can be taken off students. So students who are becoming possibly falling behind with some of their studies, we might say, we don't think that you're working effectively at home, therefore we're going to remove that home study from you. Or students who are coming in late very often, then the privilege will be removed from them, because we need to make sure that they're on site and they're following rules and they're working independently. And then as you can see, there's a QR code there. They enter the school via the e-block doors, and they sign in and out with a QR code so that we know exactly who is and who isn't on site as a safety precaution. With regards to uniform then, basically our uniform is a black business suit, and this is something that the students chose a few years ago, and this is to effectively, if they have an interview for university or for work, then they have a tidy business suit to go on to the interview. So that was the idea behind what their uniform looks like. So for girls, they have the option of the skirt. However, the length must be appropriate. So that is something to just keep in mind. Their blazers have to be worn at all times. However, we do appreciate that there has been an issue with blazers at the minute, and we understand that students are waiting for the blazers to come in, and some issues with the ties as well. So some have the double stripes, so we're trying to get all those in so that we can swap them for the correct ties. And then they can also wear a V-neck jumper in the winter, but that is optional. They can't just walk around in the V-neck. They need to have the blazer on at all times. So the tie, the single thin gold stripe, and then a plain white shirt underneath, black school shoes, so no trainers or anything, tidy school shoes, dark socks for boys. The girls can wear tights. Coats are not allowed to be worn in school once they enter the building. With regards to nail varnish and nail extensions, as long as it looks natural and it isn't anything that grabs our attention, that's fine. and no piercings on show either. And then another thing that the students have the privilege of is that they're allowed to have their phones where lower school isn't. But we do ask that where there are lower school students around, so on the corridors or in the canteen, that they don't have their phones out and they don't have their headphones in. So only in the common room or somewhere that they have private study, that's where we agree to that. And then just something to think about now when they progress into university. During year 12, what we expect for them to do is to just research courses, attend open days, visit the UCAS website, because that's where they will be applying to go to university, and open days will be on there. They have a year 12 Google Classroom, and any open days or any work experience or anything that we hear of, we put everything on there. So if they're just to keep an eye out on the classroom to see if there's anything that appeals to them. Then when they get to year 13, they will have registered for UCAS and they will begin writing their personal statement, and there are workshops to help them with that. By Christmas, they will have submitted their application. By March, April, we will be notifying yourselves and the students that they need to apply for student finance. And then by the May, we're looking at deciding on first choices and so accepting their first choice or putting a firm down, and then looking at second choices and so forth. So this year is just really a year to just research lots of universities, visit as many as they can if we're able to just give them this year to kind of have a good look around to see what it is that they fancy doing. And then if university possibly isn't the pathway for them, then we do also have a careers side of the sixth form where we actively involve them to take part in work experience. We have lots of links in the community with regards to work experience. We have in the past, we were unable last year, but we usually towards the end of the summer term, we run a project week. Where they do a week's work experience and then they come into school for the last week, and we get lots of universities or employers who run apprenticeships to come in and to talk to the students about what's out there for them in the world of work and how to write an effective cover letter and CV. So we try and give them as many opportunities as possible. And then the students can always contact our careers advisor, Sarah Parry-Jones. She's extremely helpful. And her email is there if the students ever want to talk to somebody else about their careers. And then just lastly, this is just some information about our sixth form team. So I'm Mrs. Hughes, Director of Learning. That's my email. And then we have Mrs. Southall, who is Assistant Director of Learning. And then we've got Mrs. Woodhead, who is our Guidance and Wellbeing Officer. Her base is the Common Room in EF 15. So she's the friendly, familiar face for the students. So if ever they need anything, they know where she is. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to contact myself or Mrs. Woodhead, and we'll try our best to answer any questions that you have. But hopefully that's been informative to you with regards to what experiences the sixth form or year 12 in particular have at Ysgol John Brights. Thank you.